Hey, welcome to VBAtutorialcode.com. In this video lesson, I'll show you how to use formulas in Excel VBA. If you're unsure of how to set up the code, you could just go to lesson 1, just watch my videos in order. I highly recommend that. Let me just open up Excel. Here's Visual Basic Getter on the right hand side of the screen. Notice that my columns are called column 1, 2, 3 instead of A, B, C. That's just because I'm in R1C1 formatting right now. So let me just step through my code and show you how to use formulas. So this first line of code, it sets erow equal to the last row in column 1. Here's how you could change the columns, just column 1. You could just switch this number to 2. It'll do column B instead of column A, but we're just going to do column 1. I'm going to press F8 again to step through the code, and range C2. So it's going to select range C2, and it's going to fill it with this formula right here. So it fills in this formula, RC minus 2 plus RC minus 1. So it's range A2 plus B2. That's it's column minus 2, which is A2, and it's column minus 1, which is B2. You don't really have to remember R1C1 formatting. You could switch really quickly. I'll show you in a few seconds. But you just range C2 select, and it's just going to fill down from C2 all the way to C, and it's going to concatenate to end row, which is the last row, 5. So it's going to fill all the way down to the last row. So it just fills down, and everything here is whatever that was. So now I'm just going to show you how to switch between R1C1 formatting and non-R1C1 formatting. So you just go to File, Options, Formulas, R1C1 reference style right here. You just uncheck that. Notice how it switches back to A, B, C. And the formulas here are A2 plus B2. So an important thing to note about formulas is, say you wanted to fill in the formula and you just wrote in the formula there, you're not able to do that if you're doing ActiveSheet.R1C1 formatting. So let's say you're going to go through the code right here, and it's just going to select range C2, and it's going to fill in the formula equals A2 plus B2. It fills it in improperly because I'm filling in the formula in R1C1. Let's just say I try to fill it in as formula instead. You could just fill it in like that, A2 plus B2. So that works. You could do it that way, and then you could fill down A2 plus B2. So if you want to use R1C1 formatting or normal formatting, you could do either. But if you want R1C1 formatting, then you have to switch it to formula.R1C1. I'm just going to do this in R1C1 formatting for the entire time. I like to use R1C1 formatting when I'm using formulas, just because. So it's just because I like to count the columns, and I don't have to switch between counting the columns and the actual formulas. So let me just go over here and get to the next point of this video. So whatever, it's just going to fill it down there. So here's it says range erow equal to column 4, which is column D. So the last row in here is the second row, as denoted by this number right here. So it's going to select range E2, and it's just going to fill in this formula. It's going to fill in that plus that. And notice how, so we're going to try to fill down to the last row in 2, which is already filled. So you can't actually fill down a formula if that's the only row that there is. You need to have more rows than just the row that you initially filled to fill down. So a quick way to get around that issue, that error, say if you're building this program and other people are running it, and sometimes the data set has 10 rows and then randomly it'll have 1 row, you want to put in an if statement to catch when there's only 1 row, because you don't want it to throw an error in the case when there's 1 row, and then the person who's using your code has no idea what's going on, and they're saying, oh, your program has errors and stuff. But you could actually just put a simple if statement. So let's say if range, and being that we're doing the erow based on column 4, let's just say if range d3 dot value equals double quote blank, then go to line 88 and just put line 88 right here. So let's just skip through this code and just go through this code again. So now that we have this if statement there, it'll not have an error with the autofill destination. So here we go. It's E2, and it puts in the formula here, and then it's going to do a E2 select. And so if D3 is blank, which is what the erow is based off of, column 4. So if this is blank, then it's true. It is blank. This is a blank cell. So it's going to go to line 88 instead of autofill and getting the error. So right now to go to line 88, skips to line 88, and then now we're at the next row in the line of code. So let's just go to erow equals ActiveSheet column 11. Or let's just go over here to column 11. Names from the other data set. So we're just going to fill in L2 with this VLOOKUP formula. Here's the VLOOKUP formula. It's looking up Brian in this column right here, and it's going to return the first result in column 1 if it matches. So if there is a Brian, it's going to return Brian, and here it is. It returns Brian, and we're just going to fill this down over here. So is maybe over here. If maybe were in here, then it would return maybe here, but it's not there, so it returns NA. So let's just do this over here in column M. We're just filling the same kind of formula, except we're just gonna do a based on column 8 and 9, and we're just gonna do it based on, we're gonna return the second row. So being that Brian is in here, and we're looking it up based on this column, it returns the second column, which is the 1 over here. So we're just going to fill down, and being that maybe isn't over here, it doesn't return any values. So if I wrote like maybe here, then obviously it will return a 4 because that's there. So that's how VLOOKUPs work. And an important thing to note about NA formulas, you can just selection, copy, and notice how like when you're using formulas, it just has the formula here instead of just the value. So if you paste special, then it switches. See how the formula's up here, right up here. So if you paste special, oh wait, so I'm supposed to have the column selected. So if you paste special, I don't have it copied anymore. Let me just copy it because I was clicking around and stuff. So press F8. So you paste special. Now these are values instead of actual formulas. So now you could actually just like work with what the values are, and you could just replace the NA, pound NA, with a no, instead of just like a pound NA, because the pound NA kind of throws in some errors when you're working on like formulas and stuff. So I like to just switch all the formulas around and just make them values by paste specialing. With this code right here, you just paste special. You get all this code from my website if you need to follow along and you're typing everything out. But I just like to paste special, because watch what happens if I don't paste special. Let me just put like a go to line 99 here, and we'll just put line 99 here, and we'll just skip past the paste special. So let me just press F8, go all the way down to here. So right now it's going to try to replace NA here, but see how the formula's in here now? So it's just going to do column L through M, which is column 12 and 13, select, and it's going to try to replace it, replace NA with no if it's there. But notice how the NAs don't change. That's because they're still formulas, so Excel can't replace those values. So that's why it's important to paste special values if you want to overwrite certain things. Another important thing, I guess, is say if like you're working with formulas, and notice how like I like concatenated up here. Say if like you need to concatenate like the first column, like say if you want like C2, but instead of like just like C2, you wanted like the end row from here and then the end row from here. So let's just do like erow1 and then erow4. Like say if you wanted two different starting points, like you want it to be based on that column and then that column. And a way you could do that, instead of starting at C2, you could start at C and erow2, and we'll just make this one up here erow2. So C and erow2, and then and double quotes around the, there we go, and then and C. So let me just make this text bigger. Tools, options, 24. I'm gonna just make this full screen. So here's how you write it out if you want it to have like two starting points. So instead of like C2, it'll be like C and column 4's variable, so it'll be C2 in that case. But yeah, like this is how you get VBA to work with like two different variables as the starting and ending points when doing an autofill. I'll just display that right here. So it fills down from C2 to C5. So that's how you can work with VBA with multiple variables to fill down formulas. Thank you for watching my video. Check out my other videos for more information. Take care. Have a good day.